Yo, how you going? It's LadyChann, nonetheless, and welcome to another edition of Come Box with Shan. Hola, mi gente, for my Spanish speakers. We here, we live. I have got introducing the fight fan Peter.
Bang, bang. In a minute. You been good?
Doing good. And we've got new media today, Coach Malachi Williams.
Peace. What's good? What's going on, everybody?
What's going on? Can everyone hear us good? I've got a bit of a bad throat and still trying to shake the sniffles, guys. It's just, it's quite, I don't know, low iron, lots of low deficiencies. I need to up the minerals, you know? But hey, makeup does wonders, doesn't it? You guys are like, Malachi!
Go ahead.
Pay attention.
Yeah, I'm here. I got you.
No one's
now, someone sent me something very interesting.
There's 0 people on here right now. So we're talking to ourselves. They'll come on in, whatever. They'll come on down. Malachi and Shan and Triple F in the building. Oh, someone was the thumbnail was disturbing, they said. Okay.
You know what? I heard when on Chocolito when he lost that fight, man. I saw when
I think you're low. What you're low. You sound low, Malachi.
Can you hear me better now?
Does he sound low to you, Lee?
I can hear him. It does sound a little bit low, but I can hear him.
Yeah, but you sound low.
I sound very okay. Wait.
Very low.
Wow.
That sounds
right,
clearer.
Let me do this. Let me put the link. Let me put the link on my computer. That's what I need to do. Hold on.
Yeah.
All right. Let me log back in.
All right, coolio.
Okay.
All right. So Lee, five figures. We watched it as a live watch along, didn't we?
Yes.
On my channel.
Very good fight. Very thoroughly enjoyed it.
I need to rewatch it back. I still haven't rewatched it back because
I have.
need to shift. I done a couple of rounds where I scored them 10-10s.
Yeah.
So in the end, I had Choc winning by 1 round.
Okay,
so
totally understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on the stream that you did, I think the general consensus was similar to how everybody is seeing it overall. Of most people having Chocolatito winning, a lot of people thinking it was close. A few of us thinking Estrada won.
Yeah.
But I rewatched it again, and
who do you think won?
I still stick with my original decision. As you know, as unpopular as it is, I still think Estrada won it. I mean, right. Chocolatito was busier, but I just preferred the work Estrada was doing. It just looked more technically neat and sound. I just preferred it. But I understand that most people don't see it that way. I wouldn't call it a robbery. I disagree with that. I think it was a close fight, and it was a fun to watch again, to be honest.
I call it a robbery because the judge, that one judge with 117 to 111, in the end, the WBA have temporarily suspended him. Damn right. What fight was he watching?
I get that. I mean, in his defense,
117 to 111, Lee.
No. I get that he's been suspended. I was just saying, in his defense, there were many close rounds. If he just gave all of them to Estrada, that's the only way I could see him getting to that. But that fight was well off of the general consensus. But you know, that's being seen to. For me, it didn't change the result for what I expected it to be. I did think Estrada won, so I see why that scorecard is so annoying to everybody that had Chocolatito winning it. So it is what it is. He's going to get looked into. Hopefully, it will lead to some changed behaviour, or if he stands by his decision, he should come out and say he stands by his decision, and that's how we saw it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that sounds nice and clear.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're just talking about who did you? Okay, so you didn't watch all the fight, but did you watch enough to see anything that you could get a decision on? Did you? Because the one that.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw. I probably saw like maybe 8 rounds of the fight. And I really think that I really think that I really felt bad for Chocolito. You know what I mean? Because I mean, I think he kind of like broke down crying a little. You know what I mean? So it was like, man, you know, I mean, just all of that hard work, and for him to get it taken like that, and you know, this, as you know, this happens in the sport of boxing. You know, I felt like the fight that Adrian Broner had, you know, the guy who he fought beat him.
So did I.
But Adrian Broner won by unanimous decision, but he only landed 98 punches, and he got out punched. And the guy who beat him out punched him by landed more punches than he landed over 100 punches more than Adrian Broner. So this, unfortunately, you know, people talk a lot of stuff about you know boxing and the promoters and Don King and Bob Arum and yada 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 yada. Okay, but Adrian Broner is a PBC fighter, so the PBC does the same thing. So the sport of boxing is corrupt, as you know. So
yeah, very.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? So it's
So that WBA, the WBA has you know, we go like at 6 o'clock. I just think that people in England, everyone's still at work or in it usually, but they'll have to tap in after. I'll have to say condolences to Pro B's. I've just got a message. His mother-in-law's passed away, so the show that I'll be doing with Pro B is being postponed. He's just sent me a message. Condolences to your family, Pro B. Pro B's.
Hold on.
yeah, mad times. So yeah, people can tap into this after, can't they, Lee, and watch it after. At least I don't have to. At least I don't have to edit it.
It's a shame. It's a shame for Pro B's, man.
Yeah, it's a shame for Pro B's. It is. People when they come in, like usually I do lives at 7:30. It's our peak hour, but you know, here in the UK, people are back at work. So people finish at 5:30. They're still traveling, so they'll watch it after. They'll watch it after. And Malachi's doing his live. He's on American time, US time, so everyone will tap in at the time. This is early for us. But yeah, so the WBA has temporarily suspended that judge, and I think more of this needs to happen because I'm getting fed up of all of the. I call it a robbery, in my opinion, when you're messing with a fighter's like box rec.
This is my thing. Like very seldom you see a judge get suspended. So for them to suspend him. He's blind or he got paid by somebody, right? And if we find out, I don't think we'll ever find out who this guy's got paid by.
No.
It will implement. It's bigger than him.
Yeah,
it will implement other people who control boxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The judge is going to be the fall guy. Unfortunately, he's the fall guy because he is the one that took whatever pay. Now. I don't have any proof of this. This is just speculation. So I just want to put that out.
We're not for none.
You know what I mean? I don't have any proof of this.
Our sources say.
Yeah, but I will say that it is a known fact that these judges, you know, boxing is a very corrupt sport. And at the end of the day, you know, he should have got suspended. Now, he's just the fall guy. It's not going to stop anything from happening. Now,
but it may deter other judges thinking that they could do that.
But I say all that to say this. I say all that to say this. Them suspending the judge, is it going to change the outcome of the fight?
But this is the thing. It should be a no contest when it's stuff like that.
Right.
It should go to no contest. We don't know what the outcome is, but the outcome should be, if it's not a plausible reason, which I doubt it's going to be, it should be a no contest, and he shouldn't have that on his record.
But doesn't that punish both fighters?
What's going to happen with the belt?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It punishes both fighters. I don't think Estrada did anything wrong.
Yeah.
But not with Chocolatito. So sorry, it's a no contest. Sorry.
Right, I understand that, but they didn't fight for. They fought for a belt, right?
Yeah.
It's unification.
What happens to the belt?
They have to do a trilogy.
So they have to fight all over again.
No, I'm not saying they are, but I'm saying that's what they should have to do then. No contest, and then the belts are back up for the unification. Fight again for trilogy.
Oh, the belt was vacant.
Yeah. I think it's a vacant belt.
I don't think they were. I think they both had. I think they were both titled.
Okay, so Estrada had the belt. It's a obviously Choc and Estrada had. So Choc lost his belt. Estrada got, so it was unified then.
No, I'm saying both belts should go to Chocolito.
Oh, right. Okay.
I mean, okay. You suspended this judge because you suspended him for a reason. And if you felt like there was foul play with this judge, and that's the reason why Chocolito got robbed in this particular fight. If you believe he got robbed in the fight, then the best way to correct the wrong is to give the belts to the man who really won the fight, because he shouldn't have to fight for it again.
Yeah.
Because if the judging was correct the night of the fight, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Exactly. You shouldn't
have to put all that work in again just to get some belts that he clearly won that night. That he got robbed.
Well, Fight Fans scored it that Estrada won. So
who?
Fight Leon in the middle here.
I had Estrada winning. I know it's an unpopular opinion. I watched it twice and I didn't change my mind. Estrada was the WBC and Chocolatito was the WBA champion. So it was a unification, both champions going in the ring.
So you had Estrada winning.
Yeah, I watched it again and I just liked what Estrada did a bit more. It was a difficult fight to score. I'm not gonna, and I don't think what the judges do is easy at all. It's very difficult.
I think the problem is the how wide of the margin the score was. I think that's what it was. If it was more like 115, 113 Estrada,
like the other
the argument. But you watched that fight. There's no way it was 117, 111.
No, this is 117, 111. How? Right?
I mean, no.
Yeah, so it should be a no contest, and I think they should rematch again.
Okay, so if it's a no contest, then that means Chocolito get his belt back.
Yeah, they'll both keep their belts.
Yeah,
they both keep their belts. Okay, yeah, I'm saying yeah.
So we'd have to see what the outcome of this, what the judges do to this judge. What's going to happen?
Yeah, I can go for that.
It's interesting though because he was a WBA judge.
Yeah,
that never gave Chocolatito the thing. So he was his own judge that scored so widely against him. Interesting.
Yeah.
So that means it could have been paid. He got paid for that.
I don't know. I mean, I was listening to somebody who was saying how the whole system works, where the night before or coming up to the fight, all the judges sit down with all the promoters and everybody who's paid for the event, give them like a lavish meal. And he just said it's just right for those kind of things to happen, like secret discussions, or even if it's a case of the judges don't want to lose the privileges of all the expenses paid and all the perks that come with being a judge. Yeah, so they kind of just want to do what's best for the promoters.
I mean,
it's just all conjecture, isn't it? We're just guessing.
Yeah, I mean, just the sport of boxing is just so damn corrupt. So it's not going anywhere. It's like I said, the sport of boxing is controlled by these multi-millionaires, right? And there's one boxer or anyone that can, that's in control to shake anything, because the boxer is just a pawn.
Yeah.
I don't care how big someone like a Floyd Mayweather might have gotten in the sport of boxing. He's nobody in the sport of boxing in comparison to the guys who run the show.
Yeah, true.
Like, literally. You know what I mean? He doesn't have enough, no matter how much money and not to bring Floyd up, but no matter, I'm trying to prove a point.
You love Floyd, right? It's cool.
I'm this one rich guy. Yeah, but you're with a conglomerate of rich guys. And if you're worth $200-300 million, and if you have 10 other people that's worth $400 or $500 million, you're not going to beat them.
Yeah,
because you're one multi-millionaire versus 10 multi-millionaires.
Yeah. So do you think it's like a gambling racket? Like, we want this fighter to lose because we've put a big load of money on Estrada.
I mean, absolutely, and that's just how boxing is. The sport, the boxing is like that. I mean, I remember way back when like Pernell Whitaker fought Julio Cesar Chavez.
Mm-hmm.
Pernell Whitaker was beating the brakes off this guy for 12 rounds, literally. Chavez couldn't hit him, and it was a draw.
I mean, there does seem to be a lot of. Sorry, Malachi. There does seem to be a lot of I can't say results. There's been a lot of Mexican wins under the zone at the moment, and with Eddie Hearn since he's been with Canelo.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I don't know if the judge maybe sensed that the zone are really wanting Mexican fighters to win to push the whole Canelo
Canelo movement. But that would implicate. What would you say? What is that implicating Eddie Hearn in the corruption?
Yeah, the sport of boxing was corrupt before Eddie Hearns even thought about being a promoter. You know, under his dad, Barry Hearns, Frank Warren, Bob Arum, which is Bob, 90 years old, Don King. I mean, and before them it was like this, and then after them it's going to be like this.
It's always going to be like,
you know,
it's not going to change.
Boxing is the sport of boxing is very political, and anything that has politics involved in it is corrupt at its core, anyways.
From the jump,
all politicians.
Speaking of corruption, we could touch on stupid Fanon.
I like Fanon, you know. I do like listening to him. I know it's not going to be popular.
You know what? That's why I love having fight fans on here, Malachi.
I know it's not going to be popular, but I like the guy's style. Whether I agree with everything he says, he puts forward a compelling point of view, and
but there's nothing compelling.
At the LDBC, I do listen to Fanon, and I know that that's not popular opinion, but I do like what he does.
I mean, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with you listening to Fanon or anybody from the LDBC. I don't have an issue with that at all, because you like what you like. You know, we all, you know, we're not a monolith. You know what I mean? We all don't think alike. You know, we all have our subjective point of view, whatever the case may be. There's nothing wrong with that. You know,
but they lie. Why follow liars?
I feel the opposite. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with the way I feel. That's what makes it so good. You know what I mean? So
I wouldn't say following liars. It's more I like listening to different points of views, different perspectives. So it's if I have an opinion, I like to listen to somebody else with an equally passionate opposing opinion.
Right.
You know, because it opens your eyes to things that you haven't seen.
So is there anything that you agree with what he's been saying lately about, you know, the theory?
He wasn't. I mean, he wasn't posting lately, was it? What have I seen lately that he's been saying that I think he was saying that Wilder and the Fury and Joshua fight isn't able to be finalised because the arbitration is still happening.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when Frank Warren done an interview on the BT thing, he kind of said something that could be contrary to what Bob Arum was saying. Bob Arum was saying like, oh, that's all over with, but Frank Warren wasn't saying that. He was leaving the impression it was still going on in the process, and you know, it's a big legal issue that needs to be sorted out. So you know, he's just Fanon's taken that perspective and has pushed it out as if you know that is what is preventing it, and who knows, it might well be, and that's what I like about Fanon. You can listen to him that from the outside you think no, that doesn't make sense, and then afterwards you're like, he's kind of got a point. You can see kind of where he's going.
Any points that he makes.
I get it.
They're not backed with any factual evidence ever.
Basically,
we're all just guessing, aren't we? Because we don't know what's going on.
No, we're not guessing. So sometimes we're presented with the material that we've got, and that's what we go on, and then we can make an informed opinion on that at least. But we're telling you where we've got the sources from. We're not saying, I'm not making something up and going, oh, my sources say.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but what we do know is that the fight hasn't been announced fully. Joshua Fury, I'm talking about Fury Joshua, whichever way you want to say it. So until that happens, they are able to say that is because of the arbitration. You know, there's conflicting stories with with Arum saying that the arbitration's finished and it's done with and it's all sorted, and Frank Warren not necessarily confirming that, but not denying it either. So there is the door open for anybody who wants to see that to say, well, that's why it hasn't been finalised because, you know,
he's gone back from arbitration and now it's mediation. I watched something that he said yesterday. Oh, it's mediation. couple of weeks ago it was in arbitration, and now all of a sudden it's back to mediation.
This is what I have to say about this whole mediation, arbitration. Deontay Wilder is in control of the heavyweight division. I mean, I've covered this stuff extensively, and basically it's like this here. Fanon is lying. Bob Arum said that the mediation, the arbitration is over. Frank Warren never said that Bob Arum was lying. So what we can say is, we can speculate and say, well, Frank Warren, he might have hinted at. I don't go off hints, innuendos, possibilities, maybes, none of that. Listen, what did he say directly? I'm a direct guy. I try to get to the primary source of the information. If Frank Warren doesn't come out and say, hey, listen, Bob Arum is lying, the arbitration is still going on. No one's made a video or said anything to refute anything that Bob Arum has said.
Right.
Bob Arum was on the LDBC channel, Fred Barbershop's Talk, and he told Fred, hey, listen, while that arbitration is over. Fred had a sick look on his face. He didn't counter him. He didn't say anything because they have no.
You do know that Bob Arum has also said, you know, yesterday I was lying, today I'm telling the truth. Like Eddie Hearn's probably said the same thing, some similar words himself. Well, you know, he has said that before. Not about this scenario. Not about this now. He has said that before when he said contradicting statements.
No, I agree with you on that. But my point is, if Bob Arum will lie, Fanon will lie. He's not a credible source. This is what I'm saying. So my point is, and now I shot a video last week what Fanon said out of his own mouth, and I played it for my audience. He said that I don't know anything about Deontay Wilder's business. He said that I am not inside of Wilder's camp, so he has no information as what's going on with Wilder. So when you present stuff to your audience as though it's your information, that you have inside information, this is what's going on. The arbitration is why this fight is not happening. How can you say the arbitration is the reason why the fight is not happening when you turn right around and say that I have no inside information, I'm not connected to Wilder's source, I'm Deontay Wilder's camp, I don't know what's going on. So when he says that kills anything else. So my point is, if you are a fanboy of Wilder, there's nothing wrong with that. Just come out and say, hey, listen, I am a fanboy of Wilder. This is how I feel. This is what I'm saying. Now, I have no proof of any of this stuff that I'm saying. Yeah, but this is what I feel. That's my only gripe with it. Just say that, because if it was me, that's what I would say. Just like I said earlier, that hey, I have no proof that this just got paid off, but this is how I feel. My point is, present the information like that. Don't bring it as though this is facts, this is truth. But then you turn right around and say, I don't know Wilder. I have no affiliation with Wilder. I'm not a part of his camp, so I have no information directly from him. If it's an arbitration and it's going on, more than likely there's a gag order. Wilder hasn't said 2 words since he got his behind whooped. So if Wilder hasn't said anything, Tyson Fury is not saying anything about what's going on with the arbitration. Mm-hmm. Who am I as a content creator on YouTube to make up something? This is why this is not happening because of this. Where did you get that from? Oh, I just made it up. And that's what's going on. That's what's going on. So I mean, that's my take on it.
Sorry,
isn't it for the listeners to determine what is conjecture and what is.
I actually fucking laugh. Sorry, I'm just laughing. But he looks serious as hell, and I'm dying of laughter because you're right, probably.
Yeah, I mean,
isn't it down to the audience to differentiate between conjecture and somebody that is stating facts?
Not as a journalist, no.
Right.
No.
Right. No, but what I'm saying is, I go by exactly what the primary source says out of their mouth. Mm-hmm. When the primary source tells me, hey, listen, I've said A, B, C, and D about Wilder. I said A, B, C, and D about Deontay Wilder's and Tyson Fury's business. This is what's going on. This is what I know. Mm-hmm. When you say that, to be in the know, meaning you are in that courtroom with the arbitrators, with the judge, or you heard direct information what's going on inside of that arbitration from Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury. Now, that's the only way you know. Now, if that's not the case, and you turn around and tell me, hey, I have no affiliation with Deontay Wilder. I don't know what's going on. Once you tell me you have no affiliation, you don't know what's going on, why are you speaking about two other men's business that you have no inside information on? But you present the information as though you know in one breath, but then in another breath, when one of your people that's in the chat that follows you asks you a question about why we haven't heard anything from Deontay Wilder. Why is he being so quiet? You turn right around and say, oh, I don't know. I don't have any affiliation with him. So if you don't have any affiliation with him, where is your primary source of information where you getting these stories from? And then you tell me, well, hey, I'm not getting it from Wilder. I don't know anything about it. Then that means you're making it up. That's all I'm saying. And if that's what you want to do, there's nothing wrong with that. Just say, guys, I'm making this stuff up. This is what I think, feel, and believe. This ain't about your feelings. This is about facts. Do you have any actual facts that this is the reason why this Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury fight is not happening? No, I don't have any actual facts. This is the way I feel because I don't like Deontay Wilder. I don't like Tyson Fury. I feel like he cheated. And since I don't like him and I feel like he cheated, I'm going to ride hard for Deontay Wilder. And I'm going to continue to say this based on my feelings, not based on facts. And that's me. That's where I'm at. Are you trying to appeal to my emotions? Or are you trying to appeal to my intellect? If you're trying to appeal to my emotions, then I automatically know that you don't have any facts on what you're facing, because when someone tries to appeal to your emotions, they're trying to bring you on their team or their side.
Right.
But when you know the actual facts on what's going on, the facts speak for itself. He don't have any facts on it, so you can't say.
And that's what I like, the bit that he doesn't. He openly says, I don't have inside information, so therefore he's saying it's just my opinion. I'm looking at the outside. And this is how I'm choosing to take the bits that I've heard, and this is how this is my take on it.
Not presenting it like that. He doesn't present it.
But Malachi just said, he blatantly says, I don't have any inside information. So if he states that in his videos, and then he then decides to produce an analysis or his synopsis on what's happening, then it's clear it's just conjecture because he doesn't have inside information. So it's
right. No, but this what happened though. This what happened. He was pinned in a corner. But he said all this stuff about, well, this is the reason why this fight is not happening.
Right.
So someone challenged him on it in the chat. How do you know this is the reason why? And then he says, I don't know. If that person never would have asked that question, he would have kept going on and on and on. How do I know? Because he has countless videos for over a year going on and on and on and on and on, speaking about this subject matter. But somebody finally asked him, how do you know this is what's going on? We have not heard anything from Wilder over a year. Wilder hadn't said anything. Do you have any information from Wilder's camp?
Right.
That's true what you're saying. He said, you see what I'm saying? So now he's lost all credibility with me, because I've been saying all along, these guys don't have any inside information. They lying and making it up.
Yeah.
They love Deontay Wilder so much that they are willing to lie for him to fit their narrative.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So they don't like Anthony Joshua.
No.
They don't like Tyson Fury. So if someone doesn't like, let's say fight fan, if I don't like you, right? I'm always going to find information and speak in terms that as it relate to you to fit my narrative, to put you in a bad light. When you never criticize Deontay Wilder, when you never criticize Errol Spence, when these guys are just, you have no criticism of them, but your analysis is so slanted. I'm gonna give you a perfect example. It's like the media in America, right? The media in America is very ultra liberal, very establishment, politicians. So, not to bring politics into this, when Trump became president, the establishment hated him because he was not a politician. He was not one of the establishments. He was an outsider.
Yeah. This
is why Republican Party and the Democrat Party and the mainstream media attacked him. They called him every name under the book, right? And a lot of people fell for him. So now that he's gone, Biden is doing a terrible job in America. Very terrible. We have a crisis going on the border. His policies is anti-American, is pro-China, People are losing their jobs left and right. Gas is going up, but you don't hear a peep from the media. But when Trump was there, it was anarchy from the mainstream media. This is the bias that I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that's something I've observed. I haven't heard that as well. Yeah, I haven't heard the same thing.
Listen, I'm listen, man. I'm trying to tell you, man. Like Joe Biden is going to go down as the worst president in the history of the United States. This guy's terrible, literally terrible.
Really.
But what I'm trying to say is
feed the narrative. They won't say the terrible things.
We push narratives here because politics is not about your feelings, it's about policies. That's like the Queen of England. I know nothing about UK politics. So I can't speak on the UK, but you guys can. You know more about the UK than I do. But I can say this: if you have a leader of a country that's looking out for outsiders and they let the people within the country, how would the people within the country feel?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree with what you said that politics is about policies, not feelings. But politics is about policies, but voting is about feelings. And they use the media to evoke feelings to try and lead people to vote the way they want.
Yeah.
And that's the media's job. The media is a propaganda machine of the power structure. Whoever controls the media controls the narrative. Right.
And this is why I don't mind listening. This is why I don't mind people having narratives, because if ESPN is going to be pushing a narrative, Matchroom's going to be pushing a narrative, IFL's going to be pushing a narrative, then what is wrong with, the LDBC saying this is our narrative that we're going to push? I don't think they hide it. I think they've got their narrative that they're pushing, and they push it hard. I don't think they hide it. I think they're quite open about it, and people can, if you're not willing to look at it through the lens of this is the narrative they're pushing, and certain things you take with a pinch of salt, or you just think, okay, there might be certain exaggerations there, and you have to use that to listen to what they say. If
exaggerations, lies are lies.
But I again, and in Fight Fan, I understand where you're coming from. I have no issue with that. If that's your platform and that's what you want to do, fine. But what you're not going to do is tell me how to run my platform, because my job is to counter that. If this is what
you have your right to do that, exactly.
Right. As a content creator, I look at what everybody else is doing. So if everybody is to the left dancing to this tune, I say the only way I'm gonna get the traction that I want, I have a total opposite perspective. I'm gonna go over here to the right. So I put myself in a position to where I'm in direct opposition of the popular belief. You see what I'm saying? My job is to expose everything that I feel is not right with their bias analysis.
Yeah.
I have no problem with you being biased. If that's what you want, so be it. But you're not going to tell me that I need to just get on board and go along with the program. No, I'm not going along with the program. I care nothing about your program. You know what I mean? I'm the LDBC killer. So I know when I label myself the LDBC killer, and I have merchandise that says LDBC killer. I'm letting you know I want all the smoke. So that's what I'm in it for. I'm in it to put my spin in narrative, put my spin and my narrative and belief on it, how I see things. It's not for everybody. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think that is one good thing about YouTube, that it allows people with different agendas or tactics that they use to do that, because I've come across some great channels that I've only heard about through other content creators that are totally disgusted with the channels. Then I go to check them out and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. That I can kind of understand kind of where they're coming from. And it all feeds each other. People will gain followers by listening to other people complain about them. So I think in a way it kind of helps each other.
I would love to see an LDBC person on the same show as Malachi, and that's why we tried to have that the other day with GTS, and he said he got mixed up with the clocks going forward. I was like, dude, the whole of the United States of America was on, like, how did you miss, like, on 1 hour that messed up your whole day?
Right.
I think he just knew that.
I mean, I'm kind of like me. I would love to, like me. I'm a very objective person, so I would love to. I'm not the type of guy. I'm not the type of guy like, hey, if you say something I don't like, I'm gonna block you and get rid of you. No. I don't want a bunch of yes men. what I want is, hey man, if you got something to say, say it. It's as long as you're respectful and you're not disrespecting the guest, say it. You know, I'm probably going to totally disagree with you, but you have the right to express your opinion on this platform, and I don't have a problem with that, because I've been on. I used to watch like Boxing Ego like a couple years ago, and if you say anything that he doesn't like, he's blocking.
Yeah, no, still do. They still do.
Block him. So that's what they like. You know what I mean? So me, I'm not like that. I'm not. You know, hey man, you want to come on?
Why don't you ask to go on Trill Show? I think that would be a good medium for you to go on Trill Show.
Yeah, those guys, those. But see, I know their mind frame. That you know, because I know their mindset. So, you know, they'll probably look at me as, like I say, I've been, like, they call me a coon now. A coon, and this and that, yada 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 yada. Me, I'm loving it. You know, hey man, it is what it is. You know, it's, you know, I'm in there. You know, I mean, I signed up for this, so I'm not the type of guy that, you know, I say I won't smoke and then I complain when the smoke comes. You know what I mean? Because if you dish it, you got to know how to take it, right? And I have thick skin, so I can handle it. You know, but you're not. But I'm banging. My job is to bang. So
yeah, you bang on them. I love it.
And anyone that creates a channel
to hear this now, live.
Anyone that creates a channel, puts themselves out there, I've got maximum respect for, because it isn't easy, and you're guaranteed to find people that disagree with you and are going to come at you hard. You know, this is why I'm happy just being a guest and not having my own channel, because I
mean, but every now and then they do say some things that I agree with. Like I seen Blue say something that I agreed with.
What you say?
But then he spent it and put, you know, with Deion. Basically, I got a video I'm going to shoot. I'm going to go live on this tomorrow. I'm not going to do it today because we're going to talk about what Dillian White said about.
Yeah, I thought that's what you're going to do. So I'm
going to talk about that. But tomorrow,
I'm going to quickly brush on that. I don't want to map up your whole show, but I do want to get predictions in the Dillian White thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, like to me, it's a 50-50 fight. I can't. It's hard for me to say, with all honesty, that I know for a fact Anthony Joshua's going to just take Fury out, because I don't believe that.
Yeah.
And I can't say I know for a fact that Fury is going to take Anthony Joshua out.
Yeah.
When the fight is a 50-50 fight, that means it can go. You don't know what's going to happen.
I called it 60-40 for Dillian.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because
so are we talking about Joshua Fury or
no?
No,
we're talking about Dillian Povetkin.
Oh, Dillian Povetkin. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, Dillian Povetkin. Now I was okay. As it relates to that, Dillian Povetkin. Let's see. I think if Dillian has defensive lapses, like I've watched like maybe 7 of Dillian White's fights, and he has these defensive lapses to where, you know, the uppercut is his kryptonite. He always get hit with that uppercut. And for him to continue to keep making those same mistakes, it's kind of like a problem, you know. So it's like, man, you know, you have to fight your fight. You was winning that fight against Povetkin. Don't make the same mistake you made last time. Just outbox him.
Yeah.
Just outbox him. You don't knock him down. To me, he made the same mistake Anthony Joshua made in Ruiz won. You drop him.
Yeah.
And then you kind of like, I don't know what to say. He didn't really go in for you kind of like went in for the kill. And then and you know, you're face to face with him, and now you're trying to bang with him after you already don't drop him 2 or 3 times. So you know, you have to understand the situation. You know, hey, you know what? This guy could hit me with a punch that can change everything. So I'm already up in the scorecards. Let me make the adjustment and just show him different and just box him.
Yeah.
But Dillian White being Dillian White got and that's why he's always a contender. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. He's gonna have to, for me, it's a 60-40 fight, because
that's a 60-40 fight. It's not a 50-50 fight to me. To me, Dillian White should win this fight.
Yeah.
I think Dillian White should win it 70-30. I think if they fight 10 times, Dillian should win it 7. because that's gone up from the first fight. Even though he lost, he was making very good headway. Yeah, he was getting hurt to the body, but he was making very good headway. I don't know if he was kind of playing with his food a bit instead of finishing it off, working on a few things, trying to get an extra round in or something, and got caught by that masterclass of a punch. You know, that the effect of years of training from the amateurs all the way up. You know, that consistency, that training. I mean, and I also say that Povetkin is getting worse. I looked at, me and my daughter watched the Joshua Povetkin fight. Yeah. He was doing some gazelle punches from out of range, leaping, getting some hooks in on Joshua in the first couple of rounds. There was none of that in when he was fighting Dillian Whyte. None of that at all. He's definitely slowed down. He's had COVID. Dillian Whyte disagrees that he might not have, but he's had an illness. Time is passing. You know, I'm 41. I know what happens to your body after 40 and stuff. And I do think he's slowing down. And who was it? Somebody said, you know, the way that the Russians celebrated, that they was going wild. I don't know if it was because it was fight camp and there were no fans. Yeah. But they were saying they've never seen them celebrate like that. They're normally quite stoic. You know, we got the win. We've done what we're supposed to do. And they were celebrating like wild. It might have just been because now they're the interim champs, and you know, they're one fight away from just waiting for another title shot. And for him to get a third title shot after all this time would be magnificent. But I think Dillian should take care of him.
I think the reason why they were celebrating because he was losing this fight. No one expected him to win this fight after him being knocked down several times. So
I don't think he was hurt that much with the knockdowns, though. They were flash knockdowns.
No, the first one was a flash one, but the second one the first one was a flash knockdown. The second one, he got caught flush with a Dillian uppercut. Dillian uppercutted him.
Did you think he was hurt though? I thought his legs were still steady. He was buzzed a bit. He was buzzed.
It wasn't enough that he got up.
Yeah, he was buzzed. You know. No, because sometimes you can get up and not quite have your wits about you, not be able to judge your range properly. Yeah, he. That's what I saw. And,
so I think they were celebrating because remember he was losing so bad. So and it came out of nowhere. He pulled it out. So that was something to celebrate. He pulled it out. So and he caught him, and the way he caught him, because I watched that fight 3 times, and I said, man, he was setting this punch up the whole entire time because he was showing that he kept throwing the left hook to the body, the left hook to the body, the left hook to the body. So, and he knew he was down in the scorecard, so he said, let me just go for the gusto. And Dillian thought he was going to throw the left hook to the body. Dillian dropped his arm, and he turned it into an uppercut and caught. He didn't even see it. And I said, man, he set that punch up. He set it up.
It was amazing.
Yeah, it was amazing how he did it. He set it up good. And
Russian pugilistic excellence. You know, you can tell he'd drilled that. He'd thrown that punch 1,000 times.
Yeah.
He'd planned that punch 1,000 times. He'd planned to set him up with the body shots and to go through. It was all in the plan. You know, maybe that's why the coach was cheering so that maybe it was his plan. Maybe he was on, he sat down, you know, in a little meeting and said, this is how we're going to get him. And it pulled off. Maybe that's why they celebrated so much. It was a beautiful punch. As much as I was gutted for Dillian, it was a beautiful punch.
Yeah.
And Dillian even said it. He was like, man, he caught me. He caught him with a, he didn't see it. He caught him with a good.
What I did like about Dillian's reaction was he didn't hide. As the same mouth he had before the knockout, he came back with the same mouth afterwards. And that I respect. If you're gonna have all the mouth and then you get knocked out, you can't be going quiet.
Like Wilder.
The same energy. If you're gonna keep the same energy, I respect that.
Energy. I'm just worried that it could happen again. Because if it happens again, it's game over for Dill.
Oh, that's his kryptonite, isn't it? That shot is his kryptonite.
Eddie Hearn said it. Eddie Hearn said it best. He said Dillian Whyte can't lose anymore. It's a
long way back. It's a long way back. It's been what? 2-3 years?
Truth be told, Dillian Whyte should have had another title shot for the WBC strap. Deontay Wilder didn't want to fight him.
Blocked him.
I think it was a combination of
the WBC and Wilder.
It was
there also some strategic choices Dillian made on his career. He wanted his fights on his pay-per-view shows, and the fights that he was being ordered for eliminators weren't going to be pay-per-views. He didn't want to go and be a supporting actor on an undercard of another pay-per-view. He wanted people to be on his pay-per-view, so he took the fights that would give him his pay-per-view and generating the best income for his financial career. And it has kind of given the WBC an excuse to keep him at bay with that. But people do get confused between how long he was mandatory and how long he was number one for. Okay. And that is a thing, because it kind of slipped through the radar for some. But even the rematch between Fury and Wilder was mandated by the WBC.
Right.
After they stripped him of the mandate after the issue with the Rivas fight, they stripped him of that and actually mandated.
Yeah, the first fights were mandated.
The second Fury fight was mandated as well. So the WBC were getting all their mandatories out of the way so that they didn't have to, if they didn't need to.
The trilogy wasn't mandated.
No, the trilogy is not mandated.
The trilogy is not mandated by
no, not the trilogy. The second fight was mandated.
Yeah, the first two. The one.
I can send you a video on that. I shot a video on that when I had Mauricio Suleiman.
I watched him on live saying that.
Yeah. He was on Fred Barbershop.
Yeah.
And Fred asked him directly. He said, "Listen, you the president of the WBC. Why don't you make either strip Tyson Fury of the belt for refusing to fight Deontay Wilder for a third fight, or make that fight happen?" And Mauricio Suleiman clearly said that, hey, listen, that was an agreement between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. That had nothing to do with the WBC for the third fight.
Yeah, but the WBC doing that, you know, I can't say it's like turkey's going for Christmas, because there's obviously money in the Fury Wilder fight. But the WBC would be turning down their sanctioning fees for a huge fight. Whether there's an argument of whether it's the biggest fight in boxing or whatever, it's still a huge fight. It's a lot of money that promoters, fighters, and sanctioning bodies do not want to miss out on. You know, and Hearn was already floating out from the very off. You know, like, we'll do this without the belts if needs be. If the sanctioning fees don't want to take our money, that's fine. We'll still have the fight and we'll still generate money. And I don't think Mauricio Suleiman or WBC wanted to miss out on any of that. So I think they're happy to be like, well, you know, Fury conclusively beat you in the rematch, and we're allowing him to fight for undisputed. And I think the reason, I don't always agree with what the WBC do, but I think in that case, that's the reasonable thing to do. To say, like,
it just had nothing to do with it.
So undisputed. I actually like Mauricio's idea of saying that when there's a champion with multiple belts, that the mandatories have kind of like have eliminated themselves. So where you've got UCB and WBA mandatory, whoever now, there's no WBC mandatory, and you know, so rather than having 4 people with 4 mandatories for 4 belts, the 4 people fight each other. So you've got 1 mandatory, so it allows more voluntary unifications rather than, you know, if you've got undisputed, you can't ever take voluntaries because you've got 4 mandatories to fight back to back.
Right. Yeah, right.
I actually like that idea. I like the idea of forcing them to fight each other when with unifications, to just have 1 mandatory, and it frees the fire up and we can get more exciting fights.
Right. But I listened carefully. Suleiman clearly said this, and I repeat this 1,000 times. The WBC did not mandate Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder fight a trilogy match. We have nothing to do with that. That was between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. He also said that it was my understanding that the third fight for the trilogy fight for those 2 men have expired.
Yeah.
That was supposed to happen in October. An extension was given at Wilder's request to happen in December. I think December 9th or 19th or something like that.
Yeah, 19th or something.
And the fight didn't happen. He said, we cannot strip Tyson Fury of his belt.
It's not mandated by us.
That fight was never mandated by us. Now, I can speculate, assume, guess, well, maybe he meant this. No. I don't go by maybes. I go by, what did he say directly? The source, the primary source that the information came from was from Mauricio Suleiman. That's what he said. That's what it is.
But from what you said, though, it sounded like it was just an opinion he was giving. That's what he thinks. He never sounded like he was definitive about it. Like, that's what I know. Like,
no.
It's definitive.
No. He didn't say it was an opinion that the WBC does not cannot force these 2 fighters to fight. He didn't say that. He's saying, listen.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, in that sense, yeah, that bit sounded. Sorry, I was talking about the bit where the arbitration and the contract for the rematch is completely expired, and he
didn't say nothing about the arbitration. He said the rematch. He said the rematch for the third fight with Tyson Fury and Wilder, it did expire. That's not an opinion. That's facts. That contract did expire. That's what Mauricio Suleiman said. Bob Arum has been saying that. Frank Warren has said that. Tyson Fury has said that. Now, Deontay Wilder hasn't said anything. Shelly Finkel hasn't said anything. JD's hasn't said anything.
Nothing.
So you would think that if what these men, let's say I'm lying on you, right? I'm making up a lie. Yeah, man, Fight Fan, the contract is expired, and yada, 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 yada. And I have 4, 5, 6 people on my side saying this. I even have journalists saying this on ESPN. And nobody on your camp is saying anything.
But I mean, Heyman, Finkel, they don't talk that much in general, do they? I mean, because I remember the similar things being said when it was
listen, Heyman doesn't talk, but Finkel talks. And
the rematch.
Wilder has the biggest mouth in the heavyweight division, and he's been extremely quiet.
Well, that's one person who has changed. Yes, he has been quiet since though.
I have never seen Wilder. This is very uncharacteristic for him.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him quiet like this. He's been quiet for over a year.
Right. Yeah, so, more or less.
So Wilder can clear a lot of stuff up.
Yeah, they could.
He doesn't. He don't say anything.
Nothing.
So what happens is when the one party doesn't say anything, you leave your team, you leave them have room to do what? Speculate. So now when we don't have facts coming from our leader or the guy who we look up to, if he's not saying anything, that leaves me room to speak for him. I'm the unofficial spokesman for Wilder. So Wilder's doing this. He hasn't done this because of that. He hasn't done that because of this. How do you know what Wilder said? No, he didn't say anything. This is just what I'm saying. Oh, okay. That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
Saying that though, that was the opinion I had when the whole Glovegate and stuff came out. I just thought these guys are just clinging for any reason to make a justification to why Fury lost. But then Wilder came out after a long time, and what he actually said was worse than what they were saying. He actually gave further examples of how he thinks Fury cheated. So that's what I'm thinking.
Notice what you said. I listened to words very carefully. He said how he think he cheated. Okay. Yes. So a thought is an assumption without actual fact. Wilder also said that I have facts that Fury cheated. Guess what? He haven't presented any facts. None.
Not one.
None. And it's one guy that no one is talking about who was in the locker room when Fury got his hands wrapped. It's JD's. JD's is only the guy who's been with Deontay Wilder his entire career. He's only the guy who put money up for Wilder when he was boxing through the Olympics. He is his manager as well as co-trainer. If Fury was able to put egg weights in his gloves, that means that he would have to. Then Fury is a foreigner. He's from the UK. He's not from the United States. He would have to pay off all of these United States officials. Mauricio Suleiman would have had to get paid off. The referee would have had to get paid off. Remember, when you get your hands wrapped, they check everything. They check the gloves. You put the gloves on. They tape them up, and they sign them. You put your signature on the gloves, let you know I approve that everything is legit. Everything is okay. JD signed it, right? So if in order for that to happen, JD's would have had to get paid off.
Exactly.
Listen, we should have put.
You were saying before that boxing is one of the most corrupt places. Right. So yes, for that to have happened, you would have needed a lot of corruption.
Right.
But we've just said that boxing is the place where corruption comes from.
And I did say that. But my point is this here. If you have proof that this is what happened, present the proof. No proof has been presented. You said, hey, this is what I feel like. Well, now, which one it is? Was it, remember, he said 5 different things now. So was it the egg weights?
I mean, in that sense, there is no proof that can be found, is there? I can't think of a scenario and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm unlimited. You know, I can't think of a scenario where you could provide proof for that, other than after the fight, making a load of noise in the ring, gripping his arm and ripping the gloves off, and examining them there and then, and the camera's in front of everybody. Like, what proof can he produce to say that he had egg weights in it? He can only produce theories. He can maybe get a doctor to say this then could only have been caused by this, but then that's just a medical opinion by a trained professional that he's allowed to give. You know, that wouldn't make it a fact.
Yeah, but they said that they got a doctor that said, oh, the doctor said these.
Yeah, he doesn't have a dent. He didn't have a dent in the side of his head. His head
was not conducive to a boxing.
That wasn't a dent. That wasn't a dent.
There's no doctor. There's no doctor. They said that Wilder saw a doctor, and the doctor said the injuries that you've sustained are not conducive to a boxing match. So where is this doctor? All now. And the doctor said that there was muscle relaxant in his pee. Then VADA comes out, provides the test, the result.
Sorry, the muscle relaxant one. That's the one I found the one the most funny. The muscle relaxant. I just think, were they trying to make him have diarrhea or something? That he couldn't keep himself in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, listen. My point is this: regardless of what you think happened, let's say Wilder is right. Mm-hmm. Let's say his costume wore his legs out. Mark Breland spiked his water. Let's say all of that happened because he said all of these things. The referee was cheating for Fury, even though he took points from Fury. And Fury had egg weights in his gloves. So these 4 things were the reason why he lost his fight. Let's say all of that is true.
Just for JT as well.
Let's say all of that was true for argument's sake. Mm-hmm. Okay, the costume. You made a decision to wear the costume to the ring. That wasn't Tyson Fury's fault. The water bottle was spiked. They did drug testing right after you men got out of the ring, and they found nothing in your system or in Tyson Fury's system. So either the people who did the drug test are lying, or Fury or Wilder is lying. So that's what we do know. That's the ball. Okay, 2, the referee was cheating.
Sorry, did Wilder say that he's got proof he was drugged, or did he say he feels like he was drugged? Like that's
he said he felt like he was drugged.
Yeah, he felt like he made that like he just didn't feel right. He's not offered any proof for that, has he?
Right, he felt like he was drugged. So if he was drugged, my point is this here. Let's say he felt like he was drugged. Okay, let's test it. Let's test your blood. Let's do a blood work. Let's do blood.
He's been tested and nothing was found.
And nothing was found. So what is he basing that on?
Just a feeling.
It's a feeling, yeah. It's just a feeling. He's not. That's not something that can prove.
Right. Okay. Then he said, "I'm going to present my proof that Tyson Fury cheated. I'm going to present my proof that Tyson Fury had egg weights in his gloves." Guess what? We haven't seen no proof yet.
I don't see what proof that can be found. Unless I don't see what proof that can be found, and if it is, I don't see what benefit they have by keeping it quiet. Unless there's, and then again, I suppose you can be dangling it out there. I don't know. I don't know. I do not know what proof there can be.
Right.
Other than on the day of the fight, ripping the gloves off and showing the cameras that there's an egg weight in the damn thing, because I've never felt a punch like this before.
All right, but my thing is, when you're saying 4 and 5 different things, which one is it? Was it the egg weight? Was it the referee? Was it the spiked water? Was it the outfit? Which one it was? Or was it everything working together? You see what I'm saying?
Look, my issue with it all is I like to look on a self-accountability perspective. If there's a problem that's gone wrong, you need to look at yourself first. And it doesn't seem to have been anything where that's come out, where Wilder's looking at anything he can do to prevent things from happening going forward.
Well, you should just stop chatting shit.
And this is the thing. All of this happened in America. So Tyson Fury is from the UK. Why would all of these Americans conspire to destroy the American heavyweight champion over a fighter that's from the UK? Like, make that make sense to me. All of these Americans say, you know what? This is what we're gonna do. This is what we're going to do.
I'm sitting back as an interested observer, you know, just seeing. Like I said, I can't see what proof can be found. I'll be interested, like whenever they say here's the proof, I'll be interested to look at it because I can't think of any proof they can provide.
There is no proof because he's lying. He's in denial. Listen, check this out. Listen, you've been built up to be the baddest man that ever put on a pair of gloves. This is the hype that's been coming from the Alphabet Boys, ESPN, Deontay Wilder. He's the hardest hitting heavyweight in the history of boxing. So you've been fed this for 40 fights. This is what you've been feeling. And then you fight a guy who was on coke, weighed 900 pounds, speak like he's from Ireland, because I know he has an Irish accent a little, and he comes in the ring, fat, bad body, fights you, and beats you 10 rounds out of 12. After you said you was going to do A, B, C, and D to him. After you said that we're going to freeze Anthony Joshua out.
Right.
And this fat tub of lard that you I'm not saying this about Tyson Fury, but this is how they viewed him. Oh, he was on coke, he was on depression. Oh, I'm gonna get him out of there. This is where cherry picking goes wrong. You pick the wrong cherry. And then the guy beats you, outboxes you. So all the American fans, because American fans are fickle. They're not like the UK fans. American fans, they'll love you today. And then by the time the 6th and 7th round comes, they rooting for the other guy.
I thought that, but Deontay Wilder still got his support, even though he took that heavy loss. I did think American fans were fickle, but
he has diehard
fans.
Yeah, he has diehard supporters, but he doesn't have a lot of supporters in America. You know, I'm just being honest with you. He has this diehard core supporters, meaning he has the people who follow the LDBC. Those are his supporters. The people who don't follow the LDBC, which is it's more than them than it is his supporters.
Yeah,
they don't like Deontay Wilder's not big like that here. But if you listen to certain channels, he's huge. I'm just being honest with you.
Right.
So, like, I live here in Miami, right? I live here in Miami. I can go down the street right now. Hey man, you heard Deontay Wilder? People might be like, yeah, I think I heard him. Who he is? I think I might have heard who he is. It's not like he's Mike Tyson. See, it's not like when Tyson was the champ.
Right.
This Tyson, everybody in America knew who Mike Tyson was. Mm-hmm. Everybody in America don't know who Deontay Wilder is.
No, that's
the difference. That's the difference. So you know, so certain channels, he's this big guy. In certain in the YouTube world, on the black YouTube channels, he's big. You know what I mean? But outside of that, no. He's not at all. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah, telling the truth.
I don't know why, because he's very dramatic. He's good in, you know, he gives interesting stuff when he gets in front of a camera. He says interesting stuff. Right. I don't know why he isn't more known, and I don't get it. If you know, I can't see what he's like in America.
Basically, it's like this. He is from a marketability standpoint. You know, like the fans, the people will tell you, because the people is the market. The people will tell you if the people are saying we love Mike Tyson, and he's selling out everywhere. Like Wilder doesn't. I don't know if you noticed, Wilder doesn't sell out venues in America.
No, he doesn't.
Well, I do remember that. I do remember thinking that. You know, I remember saying, you know, he should be able to fill out the Barclays Center.
No.
I do remember.
He's selling out nothing. He's not selling out anything. So that tells you everything you need to know right there. He doesn't. He's not a draw like that here. The thing is, he's the only heavyweight in America that people.
That's why I don't get it. Why isn't he? I don't get why he's not a draw. I think there's all the components there, all the knockouts, American heavyweight.
Why isn't he a draw?
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you why, because people know he hasn't fought anybody. Like, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. He has all of these knockouts. Tell me 10 people he knocked out.
I heard somebody ask a question the other day, and it was like, what were Mike Tyson's best 3 wins? And it made me think, you know, it made me think, you know, which were his best 3 wins. They came very early in his career, but then he still had he still got that image of being indestructible and stuff. So it's like
he knocked out a lot
of people that if you really scrutinize their resume, you can be like, it isn't actually as strong as it sounds. And then again, some people you're like, wow, that resume is actually better than you thought it was. But,
right. So the thing with Mike Tyson is he was the people loved him. To this day, they love Mike. Listen, Mike Tyson. Listen, I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Lennox Lewis beat Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield, but Mike Tyson is more popular than Lennox Lewis. Why is that?
Because nobody liked Lennox Lewis's
I don't know what it is. I remember, like I said, you know, getting the video. My dad coming home with the video. Me and my brother and sister sitting down watching his highlights of his knockouts.
Who, Lennox?
No, not Lennox and Mike Tyson. Just watching like clips of all these knockouts.
Yeah,
and it was great. We sat there for half an hour, 5 minutes. We laughed, we joked.
Likability factor. He had
and then because of that, that gave me an attachment to Tyson. I never had that watching Lewis fights. I never had that watching Lewis.
Tyson, even as UK, we loved Tyson.
Listen, like even to this day, like Tyson is in his 50s. He has a very popular podcast. People. The young fighters, they love Mike Tyson. They don't talk about Lennox Lewis. They don't talk about Evander Holyfield. Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield beat Tyson. But why is the guy that lost to Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield more popular than them right now? Like, make that make sense to me.
Because he's got a likability factor. Just, we love it.
People, they love, to this day, they love.
Were affected by the hype of it, maybe. Maybe I got affected by the hype of it. I just remember feeling great watching him those highlights, watching him on those highlights, knocking people out.
Listen,
and I just always wanted to be able to knock people out with one punch. I just thought I want to do that, you know.
And the fact that Tyson was a small heavyweight, he's only 5'10",
like 215 pounds.
And in his 218, 215, 218, he was a little guy. And so that's what enamored everyone. He was such a small heavyweight because everybody he fought was 6'4", 6'5", 6'3".
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so in his prime, he was a bad boy. He lost to 2 Hall of Famers. He lost to Lennox Lewis and Holyfield. And those guys are friends right now to this day. Believe it or not. Yeah,
I think that happens a lot though. You have your fight, you know, even if there's animosity, once you've got in the ring and pound, especially people who have rematches, they generally end up with a respect of each other. Listen, you can't be around with someone for 24 rounds and taking everything they've got and you giving them everything and not having like a mutual respect. So if you like them or not, you've got to come out with some level of respect.
I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Mike Tyson was always all the way there in the head. He was on coke and he was bipolar. So that is true. But they love Tyson. But I'm going to give you a perfect example. Mike Tyson, I'm going to show you how popular Deontay Wilder is. Deontay Wilder had 2 pay-per-view fights with Tyson Fury. Both of them combined, I think they did 1 million pay-per-view buys.
Yeah, they were low.
Or maybe a little more. Mike Tyson is 150 years old. Roy Jones is 100 years old. They did an exhibition match and got more pay-per-view buys than Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. What does that tell you? And Tyson is 150 years old. Exactly. How does a guy who hasn't fought in 17, 18 years they do an exhibition match with Roy Jones, which is one of my favorite middleweights, and he sell more pay-per-view buys than the current.
I think that shows a problem with the way boxing is at the moment because from my perspective, both the Wilder Fury fights were great fights to watch.
They were
for completely different reasons. They were both great fights. They were compelling. They were all action. They were good fights. So
they were great fights.
I think they were great pay-per-view fights. You know, pay-per-view worthy bouts that you think that was worth the money.
Yeah.
So you think, why is it then you got these 2 boxers that can put on these performances on the big stage when it matters? And people aren't buying into it, but then they're buying more into watching a memory of somebody that we know is not going to be able to do the same stuff.
Right. So,
but the same thing, I enjoyed the Tyson fight. It's that nostalgia of it. I did enjoy it. I know a lot of people didn't like the exhibition with Roy Jones. I enjoyed it.
I mean, Tyson was pulling his punches. Both of them, they wasn't. You can tell, like Tyson, it was a million. Tyson did not throw one punch to Roy Jones' face.
Tired. They were tired.
So, it was obvious. It was.
It gets harder as you get older, Shan.
They were tired.
Listen,
the man's in his 50s.
Hey, fight fan, let me tell you something.
Inspiring.
People would pay to see Mike Tyson hit the hand mitts. Remember before the exhibition, they had all these videos on Instagram where he was hitting the hand mitts and stuff. And everybody got excited.
So did I, but it was sped up.
Look how fast and quick he is, you know, and stuff like that, and yada 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 yada, and the combos and yada, you know, the editing was on point. People got excited about that. Was it
sped up, or did he just give his all for about 30 seconds? Because didn't he say the next day he was in bed for like 2 days afterwards?
Yeah, but I did a piece on it, and I saw when I watched it, it was sped up.
Okay.
Yeah, but my point is, I'm trying to prove a point. You have a guy who's supposed to be the greatest heavyweight of all time from Alabama. He's knocking out everybody. But there's another fighter that's a Hall of Famer that's 150 years old. People in America are more excited about that guy than the current guy.
It doesn't make sense to me. I don't get why Deontay Wilder isn't more popular in America. Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I think all the tools. I do think.
I don't know.
This might not be popular either. I do think if he was with a Matchroom, I think he would be a lot more popular, and I think he would generate a lot more buyers. I just think that.
I mean, you would have to ask the fans.
They would find a way to market him.
That's a question for the fans, because the fans is the market.
We should do a poll.
The market dictates who gets paid what, who we like more than what. So when you say I don't understand, you would have to ask the fans that.
Right.
You would have to ask boxing fans that. You know, you're a boxing fan, I'm a boxing fan. So it's all subjective.
Right.
But my point is, there's a reason why the fans.
There's a disconnect. Yeah.
Hitting the hand mitts. Hitting the hand mitts in the ring.
You're right. There's some kind of disconnect. I might do a poll.
Him and Roy Jones, both of them looking out of shape, whatever. They do an exhibition match, 2-minute rounds. Roy Jones tired breathing like he about to pass out. And that exhibition did over 1 million pay-per-view buys.
Smash the
in the US, people was going to sports bars to watch this exhibition match. That's how much interest people have in Mike Tyson.
Right.
When Deontay Wilder fights, it's none of that here. It ain't no sports bars filled up. There's no Deontay Wilder.
I don't get it. I think Wilder has exciting fights. I don't get it though. I don't get it.
Who he's fighting, they're bums.
Right. Listen, it's because of his opposition. Nobody knows who he knocked out. No one. Okay, listen. He fought Ortiz twice.
Mm-hmm.
He fought Tyson Fury twice.
So what are we saying then? Are we saying that Wilder's handlers were that supreme that they got somebody who was that rubbish,
to
hold on to the WBC belt for 5 years, and to get a bronze in the Olympic? He's got to have something else about him. He can't just be this crap boxer that's only got a right hand. He's got to have more to him. How the hell did he manage to get this far?
Listen, what do you mean? How do you manage to get this far? I mean, your eyes.
I'm thinking, if you got a right hand, that's what I'm thinking. I got a left hand. I can do some damage with it.
Right.
I'm thinking, if that's all I've got, I can't imagine being able to do half or a fraction of what Deontay Wilder's done. How have they managed to get him to hold the belt for 5 years and come back with a bronze? There's got to be more to him.
That's easy. I can answer that. Who are we fighting? Well, I got this guy. He works at McDonald's. He's going to fight you. But no one's never heard of him. Don't worry about that. You're going to fight him. You see what I'm saying?
You know, you're allowed to build yourself up. He built himself up, and you know, if he spent 30 fights building himself up, all right, he's had 36 overs. But when he gets the belt, you know, you're now a champion. People aren't coming to be knocked out. People are coming to with their best to try and do something. You're not, you know.
Yeah, but he cherry picked whilst being a champion.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
traditionally
he defended the belt for 5 years. He defended the belt against whom? See, that's the problem with people in America. They're like, okay, we don't know who this guy fought. You know, we don't know who this guy fought. Like, Who is a marquee name he fought outside of Ortiz? And Ortiz is 150 years old. People didn't really know who Ortiz was here in the United States. Outside of
the first fight was still a good fight, man. I mean, I think Kurt DeVille said it was like watching the uncle fight the rude nephew, like the barbecue. It looked like a younger and uncle having a fight.
It was a good fight. I'm not saying he didn't have any good fights. Wilder had good fights, but you would have to ask the fans why they are not interested in him like that. Versus, see, that's the question for the fans, right? Because everyone has said the same thing. Everyone has said, like boxing analysts. And even people on PBC, because everybody on PBC is not Team Wilder like that. They're like, man, if you get in the ring with someone who knows how to box, he's in trouble. He's in trouble. Everyone
Ortiz knew how to box. He did put him in trouble, though.
Everyone knows in the United States, the fight fans, they know, look, man, we don't see any exciting guys. And this guy throw windmill punches. You know, he does all kind of, and he's been getting away with it. You see what I'm saying? Because of the level of competition he's been fighting. It's not like he's been fighting a bunch of AJs or Vladimir.
And the minute he stepped up to elite, he got beat.
And the minute he stepped up and fought a guy that was on coke, that weighed 750 pounds, came off his couch, was out of boxing for 3 years, and just stumbled into the ring. You see what I'm saying? It took you 12 rounds. He got knocked down twice and got up from the fight, which that's what that first fight made Tyson Fury popular in the U.S.
Right.
He was able to get up from that vicious knockdown.
That was it.
So that's why I don't think it was the case that he stumbled into the ring. I think from the time he came back and he had the two warm-up fights, because he basically had two. I think if those two fights he had came to him to spar with him for a day, he wouldn't have them back. He had 2 sparring sessions, and then he fought, and he lose the weight. So he started he was doing with Ben Davidson. I think he was in enough shape to be able to pull that off. He wasn't looking to plant and go for power. He's looking for movement and you know, like being a slippery boxer. And so I think that he was primed, because I don't think he was in as bad a position to take on that Wilder fight for what he knew. For he looked at Wilder's style and thought, for what I'm able to do,
Tyson Fury knew. Tyson Fury had been boxing since he was 6 years old.
Yeah, he had.
He knew, if I'm in halfway decent shape, I can take this guy. He knew that. You know, there's no way that someone who's been out of boxing for 3 years, this, you know, fresh out.
I wouldn't say he was halfway decent. I think he was in I wouldn't say top form, but close to top form.
Yeah, he was right. No, he wasn't.
No, we can only go by one.
You got to have some kind of fitness to be able to take a punch like that.
He's be a great boxer, and what the point is that even on his best, on his worst day, he's a better boxer than Deontay Wilder.
Right. No, come on. Fury's had worse fights than that. Fury's put in worse performances than that. He always manages to put it out.
No, we're not saying that Fury didn't have a bad performance. He had a good performance against Wilder in the first fight. Well, and Fury has looked terrible when he fight lesser competition. I agree with that. But what I'm saying is, look at the first fight and look at the second fight. It was 2 different Tyson Furies. So that's my whole thing. It was just 2 different Tyson Furies. The second fight, he realized, you know what? I can't be dancing around the ring like a welterweight when I'm 6'9", 275 pounds. I want to take it to this guy.
Yeah.
Ben Davison trains, Ben Davison feared Deontay Wilder's right hand.
Yeah.
Understandably so. Sugar Hill was like, look,
we'll take that right away. Yeah.
We're going to make him fight off close. And take it to him.
Too close.
And lo and behold,
that's what they did.
That first Tyson Fury wasn't in shape.
He's only going to be getting better. So if you couldn't beat the worst Tyson Fury, what makes you think you're going to keep beating an improved Tyson Fury? You're not, because you're not a better boxer than Tyson Fury.
Now, if he would have fought Stemaine Bavern again, or Ortiz, or Dominique Brazil, that's Wilder's caliber. Dominique Brazil, Ortiz, that's his speed.
Right.
Anthony Joshua is an elite fighter.
They're elite.
Fury is an elite fighter.
They're elite, yeah.
They are better fighters than Wilder.
Yeah, better boxers.
In my opinion. You see what I'm saying?
Wilder's got great right hand, but no fundamentals.
Fury is not an opinion. That's a fact because we've seen two fights.
Yeah.
So where would you rate him then? If you got elite, would you rate him after the elite, the second tier or third tier? What kind of?
Wilder, he's still in elite. He's still like
he's an elite fighter, but he's a terrible boxer. There's a difference. You know, Anthony Joshua is an elite fighter and he's an elite boxer.
Same with Tyson Fury.
Is an elite fighter and an elite boxer.
Right.
Wilder is an elite fighter.
Right. Not an elite boxer. Yeah, terrible boxer.
Footwork terrible. Don't know how to throw hooks. Don't understand how to put together, body punch.
No punch selection. Nada. Nothing.
Finally going off topic.
Hey, Chann, I gotta get ready to go.
So what I'm gonna do is gonna wrap. Let me wrap up. When I wrap up, don't come out the chat because I'll speak to you guys. Don't come out the chat. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me. Come box with Chann. How you go? This LadyChann. Nonetheless. God.